Welcome back to GMT. After 13 years of fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan, countless money and lives lost, BBC research now shows that the Taliban control almost 70% of the country. The BBC has spoken to people in all 399 districts across Afghanistan. More than 15 million people, or about half the population, are living in areas coloured here in red that are either controlled by the Taliban or regularly suffer Taliban attacks. BBC Afghans Aulia Atrafi and cameraman Shwab Sharifi have gained rare access to Helmand province.
This is Malik. He's 11 and too traumatized to speak to us. He was playing in his garden when he lost his legs and his best friend to a Taliban landmine. Today, Malik is walking for the first time since the explosion.
Children go through utter fear every night. It's a horrific life. It's so volatile that we live by hours and minutes. We are the living dead.
Last year, doctors at this Red Cross clinic in Lashkargah fitted almost 1,000 people with new limbs. From the very old to the very young, the violence does not discriminate. Helmand was the base of the British Army in Afghanistan. Hundreds of soldiers died defending these streets, but since their withdrawal, almost half of the province has fallen to the Taliban, and the violence is spreading. Just 10 minutes from the hospital, the front line. It's very rare for international journalists to come this far. The soldiers say the militants are so close, they exchange insults. Today, though, swearing isn't enough. We just got fired at by the Taliban from that direction, and now the police are returning the fire. This is their front line, and it shows how volatile it is. Although we are told this is normally quiet during the day, but this shooting proves otherwise. Despite the danger, defending Lashkargah is crucial. If the city falls, so does the whole of Helmand. And it's a responsibility the commander of this battalion takes seriously. He's the man they affectionately call the Terminator. Half man, and underneath his uniform, half machine.
The back of my head was blown off by a rocket. Soldiers reported that I was dead on the spot, and my brother came to collect my body. But doctors realized I wasn't dead. They patched up my skull with a metal plate. Not long after, I stepped on a landmine and lost both my legs. But in Afghanistan, right now, it's not fit for an active commander to sit at home.
This province has been at war for 17 years. Helmand is bleeding, and its people feel forgotten. Aulia Atrafi, BBC News, Helmand Province.
President Trump also discussed his country's strategy in Afghanistan during his State of the Union address. Pachari Naksawang in Bangkok has more.
Trump stressed the importance of continued U.S. engagement in Afghanistan, underlining his administration's new strategy that was unveiled last year.
Along with their heroic Afghan partners, our military is no longer undermined by artificial timelines, and we no longer tell our enemies our plans.
Trump also asked the Congress for continued support to combat terrorism. The speech comes after a series of deadly terrorist attacks in Afghanistan's capital. More than 20 people were killed in an attack on a hotel earlier in January. And last week, a devastating suicide bombing killed more than 100 people at a security checkpoint near foreign embassies. Taliban insurgents claimed responsibility for both attacks. On Monday, President Trump rejected the idea of possible peace talks with the Taliban, but a senior U.S. official says there's been no change in policy and that it would continue to apply military pressure to force the Taliban into talks. The Taliban responded to Trump's comments on its English language website. It said Trump is rejecting peace and that war will only make the reactionary jihadic waves more violent.